What's good, y'all? Leekautorepair. Make sure you guys hit that button. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're gonna keep this video in 10 minutes. This is probably literally my second take because I was going, you know how I be like, I'm gonna be like 5 minutes or 10 minutes and then I turn it into 30 minutes, but we're gonna try to keep it brief. So hit the like button, make sure you guys subscribe. So what you're seeing at what's dangling right here is a GM Chevy engine. Well, I'm not just gonna say Chevy because it don't have to be in a Chevy. It can be any cars that's in a General Motors family, Buick, Pontiac, Chevy, GMC, whatever. This is a General Motors 3.8 engine, 3800 Series 2 3800. 3800s in America, I just feel like I had to cut it out because literally I cursed. I cut that part out, so let me start over. This is literally the worst engine in North America and United States. Let's just say that in the United States because I don't know how people feel about it in different countries or different parts of the world, but in America, in the United States, this is the worst engine to have. And the reason why I say it's the worst engine is because it's problematic. It's known for having a lot of problems. Let me try to find a light for y'all. It's known for having a lot of problems, and a lot of people can vouch for me. I'm in America. I live in America. I worked on a crap load of these, so I know how this engine performs. Yeah, the engine can be strong when it's top notch, when you really take care of it or whatever, but you know, the transmission is just as crappy as the engine. And if this engine is taken care of, it can be good. But I've seen these engines fail a lot, and they always fell from like head gaskets and just no oil in the engine, and it's just. But I'm prepping this engine up and for installation, and before I wanted to install it, I at least wanted to do a look over and want to see what the hell is wrong with this damn engine before I install it. As far as I'm concerned, it could be a hole in the block. Had something like that happen before or whatever. I got it from the yard. So the reason I say I don't like these engines too, I'll get the camera zoomed in for you guys to see. Matter of fact, let me just take it off the tripod. All right, change of plans. I just came up closer a little bit, so we got to keep this video pumping. Let me toss my gloves on real quick. So you'll notice various amount of hoses, connectors, stuff cut and everything. We're not paying attention to that because I won't be needing any of these parts unless I need to do a cut and splice on something. But the original harness is in the engine and the original harness is still good, so I don't have to worry about stuff like that or whatever. Hoses, all of that shenanigans, crap, whatever. So this engine is known for oil leaks, major oil leaks. That's why I said it's the worst engine in America. I didn't say it's the worst performer. I said it's the worst engine because it's problematic. You're always gonna have to put some money into this. It's known for oil leaks. So this valve cover gasket is leaking on this. If I can get this to rotate around even more. Got this dumb seat belt because they hoisted it up and bent the this bracket right here. Yeah, you can use it to lift the engine up. That's a lifting point, but still y'all lifted it on 1 point instead of 2. So valve cover gasket leaks on this. Doing valve cover gaskets, if you have this car and someone quoted you, this is not like a cheap job. Due to back bank is going to be, I remember on the Series 138, you got the wear bracket for the alternator. I don't know, this one looked like, you might got to remove this bracket and get out of the way. But it's always the one in the front. I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I've done these. You got this bracket in the front, and there is, actually this might be the one where this is a lot easier to do the valve covers. So this Series 2, the valve covers is easy. So excuse me on that. The one prior to this was a pain in the ass because you got the brackets that go across of the valve covers. It's just a pain in the ass to do the job. It could be like a 3-4 hour job. But these ones are accessible. You can get these pretty easy. Man, just move just the one bracket right here. There's one in the back. And you good. You might gotta move the alternator out of the way, but other than that, it's not as hard as doing this just the one prior. So I addressed the valve cover leaks. So you see this T-plug right here? I mean this T-elbow. I don't know if you guys can see pretty good, but this T-elbow is known for failing, and these engines, the coolant little T-elbow, I forget exactly what they call it, but I replaced a bunch of these. They break off inside the intake plenum, not the plenum, the manifold. And there's another point. There's always one right here, and there's another on the other end, the bracket. It looks like this one only had one of these. I worked on 3/8 when they had 2 of these, so it was always based on the bracket. So now I guess don't have to worry about that part or whatever. I essentially don't see the other one. I don't know where it could be. I only see one. Whatever. But there's normally 2 of these. These go bad. Get a major oil leak. You can identify this leak right away. All you gotta do is trace where it's pouring out of. It's easy to identify this leak. So they do have better ones, the aluminum ones. Just make sure you get the aluminum ones. Do not put plastic ones back in these. These are crappy or whatever. Let me try to keep speeding up or whatever. So this, you see the oil and stuff right here seeping up under the lower. This is the intake plenum. This is the black is the plenum. And right here, what I'm touching, this is the actual, the lower manifold itself. And in between the manifold and the top of the block is pretty much is a gasket. And these engines are known for failing the lower and upper intake manifold gasket failing. You see the upper right here? See how it's coming out? And you see the lower? These are infamous. This job, man, I could do these. I'll charge somebody like $400, $450 to do the job. I had me done in like, you know, 4 hours, 4 or 6 hours or whatever. Easy 400 you can never make or whatever. But that's just one thing with this. So this is known for that. The water pumps do leak on this. I believe the gasket is just shitty, but good thing the gasket is, you know, relatively cheap, along with the water pump and everything else. It's pretty cheap. The timing cover, this one is not leaking. I had on the 3.1 and the 3.4 engines where the timing cover, it was leaking and you gotta replace it. And you know, that's a nice paying job too. It's messy, but it pays nice. Keep spinning it around. The oil filter housing, I haven't really had too many where the oil filter housing gasket fell. I may have, I don't remember. This one seemed to be cool. The oil pan gasket always go bad. You notice this is cheap ass. Want to be aluminum still. It's not even aluminum, like soft metal pan. And these are the worst to do because you take them off, you bend it. And once you bend it, the surface will never be straight again. So it'll always be uneven. And if you put, it looks like it's a thick gasket in here. The double layer, like the rubber one. Not the paper one, the rubber one. And those not gonna like, it's gonna work to a certain extent, but if this pan is bent up, it's just you're gonna bend this, taking it off, because you gotta take a screwdriver and pry it out or whatever. It's gonna be stuck, damn near stuck to the block. So the oil pans are always a major leaks. There are 3/8, I believe, with aluminum pans. I remember I've done a bunch of them, 3.1s, 3.4s. Done a bunch of oil pans on them. But this, it's kind of like I can push through this or whatever. But this got to get replaced, so this is no good. Keep spinning it around. I gave me a transmission bolt. Nice of these mother effers. This is that small bolt that's hard to reach. Everybody don't like getting to. That's in between the transmission. Let me spin this around. The rear man housing. Excuse me, hold on, let me flip this around. The rear end still leaks on this. I would take off the, it looked like it's not leaking, so it looked like it's just the pan. But the rear main seal, that's in between this flex plate, they tend to leak too. There's another like backup housing for it and everything, like a whole plate. If you want to see a rear main seal, see me do a rear, actually it do look like it's leaking. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm not gonna take this off or whatever, but it's not leaking a lot, but you can see like some seepage or whatever. You can tell there was coolant leak once upon a time ago because it dried up in between in this block right here or whatever, this little cut. So I'm gonna drop that and everything. But between the overheating problem and massive oil leaks, you keep fixing these for days, you're still gonna have an oil leak. So I'm gonna put this engine in as is because, you know, it's my little cousin. He's a mechanic, and he ain't gonna pay me no bill like how I charge a regular customer, because I would have had them take care of this before I put it in. But I know there's something he's gonna want to do on himself and something he's capable of doing on his own. So I'll just make sure the engine run and everything else is going to be his responsibility. But this type of engine I wouldn't do for a customer, because type of engines I like to do, them bitches gotta start up. They gotta start up. when I'm done it. I don't want no issues or whatever. So this is just my thoughts on what I think about the GM Series 2 3800 motor. Give me your comments. Your comments on it, your thoughts on it, or whatever. I know this video probably about the time out, but hit the like button, make sure you guys subscribe. Check out my P.O. Box. Everything is on the screen, Instagram, all that. Want shirts, just read the screen, follow instructions. You got Leekautorepair. I'll holla at y'all.